G'day, mate, and welcome to The Last Video Store, the show where I, Alexei, a known cinephile and funny fella, talk to cool, interesting, hilarious, beautiful, exciting, interesting people about their favorite movies. And joining me today on the podcast, one of my best mates, actually, very, very funny, one of my favorite comedians as well. From before I started doing comedy, Michael Hing, today's guest, was actually one of my favorite comedians.
Really?
And then we became friends a few years later.
It's like me with you.
That's it, dude. That's it, dude. That's it. So now, finally, we completed the full circle. Me, you, and Michael Hing.
Yes.
But Michael Hing, you know him. Oh, producer M, by the way. Hello, how are you?
Hello, sorry I inserted myself.
No.
early.
You simply must insert yourself at any time. You're part of the show, dude. You're
Thank
allowed
you.
to at any point. Even run in during the episode.
Yes, I should start banging on the window. I've got something to say.
Well, certainly you should have been banging on the window because this is actually one of the longest episodes you've ever recorded.
It was very long.
So we're going to keep the intro short, huh?
Yes, I'm vetoing everything else. We're not doing a review. We're just getting straight into it.
Getting straight into it, Michael Hing, you know him from The Project, you know him from Triple J, you know him from his excellent podcast, Dragon Friends, Free to a Good Home. I've been on both quite a few times. Michael's doing a full comedy festival run across like all the cities right now. His new show, Get in the Submarine, Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, all of them. Garden of the Unearthly Delights, I'm seeing is on here as well. I looked that up on Google. He's doing it all. Get in the Submarine. Michael's like one of the best stand-up comedians in the country, so go see it. And also, while you're there, why don't you go see my show with Zachary Wayne, Refused Classification. We're doing a show at all the comedy festivals as well. So hit us up there. See us, see Michael, see them all. But, you know, we're running out of time because we've got a long episode. And why do we have a long episode?
You switched up the format for this one.
We did too. We did.
You went a little crazy.
We went actually crazy. We went actually crazy with this one. I'll just say Michael unearthed a list of his favorite movies, and we'll get into it pretty much straight away.
Right now.
The Last Video Store.
Michael Hing, my dear buds, thank you for wandering all the way over here to the Last Video Store and sitting in that seat.
Thank you so much for having me, Alexei in
My
this, the very last video store in existence.
The very last one. I killed all the other remaining boutique video stores around the world so I can sit here in my digital realm supremely. But I'm very glad to have you in here. You're my favorite person to hang out with. You're my best friend.
Yeah, I would say close to. Close to on this end as well.
Wow.
I mean, I know you're being a little bit ironic, but I do
Absolutely.
love...
Absolutely, I'm being ironic. A little bit, yeah, I would say it's a little bit ironic.
but
I do
I-
love hanging out with you. I love talking to you.
Yeah, but every time we've hung out, on like mostly to do with work, whether it's podcasts and whatnot, always have a great time. On the maybe half a dozen times in our life where we've hung out socially, always a great time.
Always a pleasure.
Including a time where you and I went to see, I believe, the movie Games Night.
Yes, we did see Game Night at Burwood Cinema.
And there was a couple near us. One of them was giving the other one a hand job.
Yes, I do. This is one of my most vivid memories of you is you tapping me on the shoulder in darkness, me turning, then you moving backwards to see teenagers making out.
And I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
And it was so graphic. And I'm like, obviously I've been a teen.
Yeah, of
and
course.
I have attempted that kind of
Yes,
thing.
and let it be known I've fondled in that very cinema.
And so I don't want to judge these kids, but let me tell you, what they were doing was hotter and heavier than anything I've ever would even considered in a cinema.
And this is a guy that has a child, so surely you've gone all the way.
And it was so full on that I was like,
Yeah.
I think Alexei as a cinephile needs to know about this.
And
this
it was
crime
also
occurring.
all that was separating you from having, dare I say, one of your first group sex experiences was an armrest with a can of Coke in it.
It was so crazy. I was so uncomfortable.
It was a beautiful sold-out Saturday afternoon screening of Game Night. Wonderful.
I remember nothing about that film.
Oh, but I remember the aura, the atmosphere, and the
yucko.
others of that screening. I would say one of my favorite screenings ever. Great movie, great immersive quality to it all. But, you know, we do make time for each other, Michael. So
Yes,
I'm glad
we do.
you made the time to come visit me here in my ivory tower among many videotapes and DVDs.
So I've listened to the podcast before,
Thank
Alexei.
you.
I've
Wow.
listened to, and I've
That
seen
was
the
you.
clips.
I saw that download come through. Thank you.
I've seen the clips online as well, and so I know the format of the podcast.
Yes.
But in talking to you, in negotiating my appearance on this podcast, when, when my agent reached out to you,
Yes,
/ when I emailed you.
Yes. And let it be known, Michael emailed me no subject line.
No, just,
no
hey,
subject.
I have to promote some comedy festival dates. Can I do the pod?
Yes. Okay, yes, come through, brother, come through.
So I thought, look, we could do the regular format, but then
You went, I want to talk about your favorite films.
yes, well,
You searched within yourself and found something quite powerful, I would
so
say.
what I was trying to, you asked me to kind of like think about some films I could talk about. And so I was like, I reckon I've written a list of my favorite films at some point in my life. And so I searched through my emails and I found an email from 2004.
Can I ask, are you sending this email to yourself to let it be copywritten in the rules of the Writers Guild?
Far more embarrassing than that. We'll get to that in a second. So I had written a list in 2004 when I was in, I think, second year university. It would have been like 2000, I think it was like late 2004. I'd written a list of, it wasn't the top 50, like, it wasn't like my 50 favorite films of all time. That was, that is literally what it was. But the subject line on the email that I had sent to this person, I'd sent the email, the list of films to, was the 50 greatest films of all time.
Wow.
So it's not even, this isn't even like me thinking like it's subjective. No. My
This is
taste,
objective.
as a 19-year-old, this is an objective list of the greatest films of all time.
Yeah.
And so I sent it to my then girlfriend, who is a legend and remains a legend and rightfully has moved on from me. I sent it to her because there was kind of like a trope, I guess, when you're a young man, especially, in the early 2000s, of like being a kind of guy who had to quote unquote educate his partner in terms of film and culture and whatnot. And like, to be clear, the person I was dating is much smarter than me, much more cultured than me. So it was kind of like a funny take on that stereotype of like the guy being like, have you seen Donnie Darko?
Wow. To prove yourself worthy of their love.
Yes.
Yes.
But also, even though I was probably doing it ironically, as you can tell from this list, I was clearly trying to prove that I was cool and smart by this list.
I would say, Michael Hing, yes, you live in irony, but beneath that irony is your fear of sincerity.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, through your irony, sincerity is always found.
And can I say, it is humiliating. So, Alexei, I've given you my this list I wrote when I was 19.
Films.
50 films. We'll try and breeze through as many of them as we can. And I mean, I don't even remember what's on there. I just kind of sent it to you, and you've uploaded it to.
It's on Letterboxd.
You've uploaded it to
It's
Letterboxd.
on my Letterboxd as
You've
well now.
imported it into Letterboxd.
In the order that you've put it in, it is on my Letterboxd. You can find it on there. I'm updating it as we go along. I might.
Okay.
Once we edit this podcast, I might put your thoughts in there too.
Okay.
What you're saying now when we go through it. But Michael, usually, this is all about nostalgia. We're accessing absolute nostalgia here. Usually, it's my duty to put a few films together and come up with a recommendation for you.
Yes.
I've got way more information than I need to come up with a recommendation for you. So I think I will not just recommend you a film. I think I'm going to recommend 19-year-old Michael Hing,
beautiful.
second-year university arts student.
Arts education, psychology. I was
education.
in that vague kind of humanities area. Yeah.
That guy,
Soft
which is a
sciences.
guy I did not meet. I've never met that
Never met
guy
this
before.
And I reckon
I've met the relics of this man, like
Yeah.
what is left remaining. I've left the remainder of who he was.
I think if we were both 19 and friends, we would have been friends. I think if you today met 19-year-old me, you would find him insufferable.
Wow, but who knows? Maybe I could take him under my wing, mentor him. So I will take that. The cinephile is partially logging out, and the empath Alexei is logging in right now. This is all empathy episode where I'm trying to discover a guy.
Yeah.
So it's a list of Michael Hing's 50 favorite films at the age of 19, as compiled second-year uni student. But before we do that, this is probably 2004, judging from the list.
About that.
2005.
2003, 2005, around that era.
Around that
time, yeah.
era. So take me back. This is a primo video store era.
Yes.
What was the store you were going to and presumably renting a lot of these films from? Because it's just before torrenting took hold of your life.
It was just not just before torrenting. It was around the time when the very, very, very first illegal streaming sites were kicking off.
My God, mega uploads.
Yeah, like Easy TV or something. I don't know,
love
that kind of
TV,
thing.
Yes.
And
it's how I saw Entourage.
it's how I saw Heroes. And my local video store was a Video Easy at the Illawong shops. That's where I grew up, in a town called Illawong, which is on the outskirts of Sydney. Kind of like a suburb now, but when I was growing up, was more of a town, more of a disconnected, almost
More of a
semi-rural
wasteland.
town. Yeah. Certainly culturally it was, and
Judging from this list, I beg to differ.
So there was a video store. It was a Video Easy, classic, $10 for 10 rental, 10 weeklies or whatever, like that kind of vibe.
Yep.
It had it had just obviously, it was still stocking DVDs. Sorry, it was still stocking VHSs.
Yes.
And the transition to DVD had just started.
Wow.
It's the early 2000s.
I'm being taken back to my happy place.
But crucial to, I guess, this story is that I had a friend whose name is Mark Sutton, who I think you know,
of
Mark.
course. He's a Bob Dylan PhD.
Yes, and a producer of the
Yeah,
ABC.
pretty huge Dylan.
Yeah. I went to high school with him, and he was a huge actual movie nerd and a proper cinema buff, and I was attempting to, I don't know, look cool in front of him.
Yeah.
I had gotten a job at a bottle shop that was next to the video store.
Oh my God, clerks eat your heart out.
So I would, on my break, I'd get a half an hour break or whatever, I'd go into the video store, and every week I would choose my 10 weeklies I would get out.
Wow.
And I would say at least half of them were movies that Mark had, on his blog or whatever, had said he liked, that I was trying to copy. So a lot of these films are films that I watched only to impress one guy, Mark Sutton.
Wow. Well, Mark, if you're listening, darling, let us know what you think. Comments on my Letterboxd list of Michael's favorite movies. Should we get into it
Let's
then?
get into it.
I'm trying to decide, should we go from 1 to 50 or 50 to 1? Because both have their pros and cons to go for.
As a former Triple J employee, I have to say the countdown's got to go from highest number to lowest number.
Okay,
Gotta
here
count
we
down to
go.
that number one film.
And then at the end of this, I shall bestow upon you a custom recommendation. And
Okay.
coming in hot at number 50, this is also my audition for the hottest 100, but of movies in 1 year. I'd love to do that for Triple J. At number 50, from 2003, from now cancelled filmmaker Bryan Singer, it is X2, X-Men 2. So number 50, where we starting here?
Yeah, so I think what's the director's name?
Bryan Singer.
Now he's cancelled on account of being a sex pest and pedophile, maybe, or just sex pest.
Oh, well, you want me to defend him the way you're asking me this question? I don't know.
He's a bad guy.
Bad guy and pretty bad filmmaker.
At the
Yeah.
time, I didn't know that.
Of course you wouldn't.
And all I remember from X2 is the opening scene is really cool. It's Nightcrawler, who is a teleporting mutant, bamfering around the White House, I think either almost or trying to kill the president.
I think to scare the president.
To scare the president,
Hey, I could kill you, mate.
And I remember, and that was enough. That opening scene is enough to get on the list.
I think so. I mean, it's a wonderful opening scene. I remember as a kid around this time too, because I'm much younger than you. I would have been probably 5 years old when this
Wow.
happened. No, I was 12. I was 12. But I remember me and my friends would leap onto each other and go, "Incredible Nightcrawler," as he would in that, and then teleport people. So that's my memory of X2. Number 49 on the list is from 1983.
Yep.
And I'll tell you this, this entire list I've looked at this list, I've had this list in my possession for days now. 1983's film, The City, is the only film on this list that I have not seen. Also, have not heard of. I had not heard of this movie. It actually was not the first thing that I could find. It's called Die Stadt by Martin Manz and Marilyn Esser. Do you know what this movie is?
So, yes, I've only seen this film once.
And it got on the
If
list.
you can't remember, sorry, if you have any questions about this film, I cannot tell you anything about it. But in, I reckon, year 11, I was obsessed with the Dark Prince of rock and roll, Nick Cave, and I must have told my English teacher, Mr. Anderson at Caringbah High School, that I loved Cave, and then he was like, "Have you seen his film he's in called Die Stadt or whatever?" This film, and he had a copy he gave to me. He lent me,
my
and I watched
God.
it. And now, look, sorry.
When
I
I'm
honestly-
looking at this on Letterboxd, he's not listed in this movie.
No, I think he's in already the soundtrack or something. Again, I can't remember
Maybe
anything about it.
There's not much information because it's been viewed by 23 people have seen it according to Letterboxd that have logged it, and there is 4 reviews, maybe 5 reviews.
Any positive, negative? What does anyone say
Mostly
about it?
pretty positive, it's saying, but they're all in Turkish, the reviews, because this is a movie about Istanbul. This is a feature documentary. The city offers an unusual narrative on Istanbul.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel like the movie I saw was different to that.
Really? Okay, well, maybe it's another 1983.
I could
The
also be
City.
mistaken. I could also be mistaken.
Wow, maybe you just logged it incorrectly.
Yeah,
In your
maybe.
list.
Hang on, I'm just gonna quickly
My
Google
God,
it.
on movie 2, we are proving your fraudulence.
No, it's about West Berlin. I think there are multiple
there's multiple
1983 films
cities.
called Die Stadt. This is
Wow.
it's a long day's journey. This is according to the IMDb. A long day's journey into the night in the West Berlin of the early 1980s. The film follows the lives of several characters, music from
Okay.
Nick Cave as part of the pilot, complete with shots of the recording studio and Nick at the piano. Now,
Okay, I will update that one on the list.
I do not
I'll
remember
leave both
anything
on
about
the
it.
list now.
Just I'd only ever seen this once. I don't remember anything about it. Nick Cave was in
Wow.
it for a bit, I think. And I was obsessed. The more interesting thing, I guess, for this story
Mm-hmm.
is that my English teacher was a very good teacher. I really liked him. But in retrospect, sometimes you look back on things your teachers did and said, and you're like, that's fucking crazy.
Yes, of course.
He once read us, and this, I'm not trying to get him cancelled, but he once read us we were studying Pride and Prejudice, and he was a kind of a published poet and stuff, so he read us a poem he'd written about Pride and Prejudice that was like deeply horny and erotic, right? And we were like, this is crazy. And he was like, yeah, no, I probably shouldn't have read you that. It's published, but it's bad. I feel bad. And so he was like, I thought you'd be ready for it. But we were all giggling and stuff because we were like 16,
Yeah.
and he felt bad. And then the other inappropriate thing he did once was he goes, do you want me to share a poem with you? And we were like, yeah, of
No,
course we want
dude.
it. And it was a poem about how he caught the train, and a guy started talking to him about how you can drink your own piss. And if you drink it once, it's okay, but if you drink it twice, you'll die.
It goes to the system twice.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, I don't know about Bear Grylls. What Bear Grylls would say about that. Anyway, that was my English teacher in year 11. My experience with him was great.
Yeah, we all have that. We all have those hidden memories that should be locked up forever. That's The City, 1983, different movie from the one I read out. Then we got this. Honestly, this is the weirdest one on the list for me.
Okay.
At number 48, The Lion in Winter. Do you remember this movie?
Oh, is it like a Catherine Hepburn film?
It's a
maybe?
Katharine Hepburn film,
I reckon
and Peter O'Toole. Henry II and his strange queen battle over the choice of an heir. It's very. I've seen this-
It's like old timey cinema.
60s, yes.
Yeah, it's like, but it's very like a proper English acting and stuff. I think that was just like adjacent to sort of fantasy, and it was a pre-Game of Thrones world,
True, that's absolutely true. Okay, locking it in. 1979, Being There. Beautiful movie, Hal Ashby.
Don't remember it at all.
Peter Sellers.
Oh, Peter Sellers. Yes, okay.
Serious-ish performance. And it is high. This is so far my recommendation from the list. You should see Being There.
I'm remembering stories. Okay,
Yeah.
this movie I saw when my dad organized a surprise birthday party for me when I was like 14 or 15. Invited people he'd found their phone numbers in my school diary. They weren't my friends. They were just people I'd been assigned to groups with for group work.
Oh my God.
And so it was a bunch of random people I liked, but like random nerds. None of my friends were invited to this thing. And my dad got 2 films for us to watch, both Peter Sellers films.
Wow. The
One
Party
was
and
one was
Being
The
There?
Party,
Yeah.
and one was Being There.
Well, that's his top 2 movies.
Well, I would say The Party, even in like, I don't know, 1999 or whatever, I was like, this is fucked.
Wow. I saw it around that time going like, we got to keep doing comedy exactly like this. Funny voices, different races. And can I say as well, you not unlike me, already revealed in a few pics, have never gone through a metamorphosis in your life. Your dad is going through your diary trying to go, who are this guy's friends? I got to make sure he's hanging out with them now. Your partner has messaged me a few times, you should hang out with Michael more. Stuff like that. So it's just,
Hey,
the
I think he's
people around
lonely.
you.
He needs a lot of people always trying to make me socialize. It'll never happen, Dad. It'll never
Yes,
happen.
Put the mics in front of the boys, they'll hang out then. Being There, great movie, huge recommendation,
Okay.
beautiful film. Peter Sellers, he is a savant of some kind almost. He's a simple gardener who eventually kind of becomes the president of the United States of America. So timely movie.
Yeah, precursor to Trump.
The next movie, we got a bit of a double bill. I'll put them together.
Okay.
2003 and 2001, 2 3D animated movies back to back on the
Oh,
list.
yeah?
Shrek and Finding Nemo.
I mean, Shrek's obviously one of the greats. That's
I
one of the-
disagree, but
You
fair
don't like
enough.
Shrek?
It's got my favorite actor in it, Mike Myers, but
Yeah.
I can't stand Shrek. He's mean and nasty to his wife in everything iteration, deeply depressed inside.
Wait,
He's-
who's mean nasty to his wife?
Shrek.
Shrek's not married. Shrek's an ogre.
At the end of the movie,
At the end,
he basically
gets married to Fiona.
Yes.
But what? And
I think about Shrek as a saga, not just one movie.
Well, I cannot necessarily recall Shrek's 2, 3, and whatever.
19-year-old Michael had yet to see the Shrek saga unfold, so
Yeah.
you can only look at Shrek 1.
I've only seen Shrek 1.
Okay, fair enough. We'll go back to Shrek 1. I
at the
still
time-
would say this. At the time when I saw it, 2001, kid, my favorite movie was The Matrix. Seeing the parody of The Matrix where Fiona leaps in the air and the camera pans around her,
Yeah.
I said, this is disrespectful to The Matrix. You should not have done this.
Wachowskis would hate
Yes,
this.
you cannot make fun of The Matrix here. Sorry, guys. Don't like it.
Whereas I remember it being kind of an irreverent take on sort of folk tales
Yes.
and fairy tales, and I, as a surly teen, was like, yeah, take that, Mary Had a Little Lamb or whatever. Take that, gingerbread asshole.
Next one on the list, 1974 masterpiece movie, neo-noir, from another cancelled filmmaker, Roman Polanski, and it's his first appearance of a few on the list. It is Chinatown.
Could not tell you a thing about it. Is this like the Forget It Marge? It's Chinatown? Is that from?
Well, forget it, Jake. It's not. He's not speaking to Marge
Sorry,
Simpson
yes.
in the original film.
That's true.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Yeah, I feel like this is a movie about you never know who the good guy is, maybe, and it's always.
I'd say there are no good guys in Chinatown.
okay, well, there you go. But
Forget it, Michael. It's the movie Chinatown. There's no good guys. But it's all like duplicity.
When you say that,
plays.
if you say the sentence, "There are no good guys in Chinatown," it does sound racist, Alex. I've been there. Nothing but evil people.
No. Bleep it. Bleep me saying it. Don't clip that part. Don't clip it. Leave it in the podcast. But wonderful movie. Wonderful movie.
With a very hardworking people.
Yeah. Okay, we're going back to the 2000s.
Yep.
Memento from Christopher Nolan.
This is the backwards film.
Backwards film.
Famous-
Backwards forwards.
I think we didn't. Did we when this came out? Did we know Christopher Nolan was a genius?
At 2000, this is his second film. His
Yep.
first film was called. Oh God, what's it
It's
called?
like it's like a
It's
one.
called like Bug or something like. Not Bug. It's called.
Mr. Bug's Big Day Out.
Yeah, Bug Boy. So he did a film called Doodlebug, and he did a
thought
film
you were-
called Following.
I thought you were gonna say, "Dude, where's my car?"
He did a film called Dude, Where's My Bug? But Dude, Where's My Car? Mystery, not unlike Memento, to be unlocked. But he did Following, which is a tiny, low-budget film. This is his first film that's kind of like finding an actual audience
Yeah.
out there. So it's the film that probably signified to people, hey, this guy's a genius. But you're a big Nolan head. I know you love The Prestige, which at this point in
true.
time has yet to come out.
I do love The Prestige. How do you know that I love The Prestige? Oh, because I always talk about it on my
I know
podcast.
everything about every one of my friends. I log down all their details. It's how I keep track of them. No, I just know you love The Prestige.
Because on my podcast, Free to a Good Home, that you've been a guest on several times, my friend Ben and I always have a joke. Well, I don't know. It's just an ongoing reference to it. And the third part is The Prestige. It's such a stupid bit. But yes, Christopher Nolan.
He's a plot master and a plot entwiner.
And in Memento, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you would have seen Memento.
Yes.
It's the backwards film, a lot of tattoos and stuff. But I remember watching this and being like, now this is cinema. This ain't your granddaddy's cinema. It's backwards, baby.
And I would say this is the first thing on the list that, having gone through it, signifies a lot of what's going on this list. It's an area that I've talked about a lot on our podcast with Cameron James, Total Reboot, and you were on an episode exploring this exact thing of Millennium Mindfuck cinema.
Yes.
Which is films of the millennium, the turn of the millennium, building up to the turn of the millennium, just after the turn of the millennium, that films exploring film in a different way, complex narrative structures, things in and out of order, kind of taking things from maybe Pulp Fiction and then maybe giving them a bit of a science fiction twist or something like that.
Here is why that was possible in that specific age. It's because film had been around at that point for, commercial film had been big and around at that point for 50 years. You know what I mean? It'd been huge. The talkies had been around for, I don't know, 60 years, 70 years, something like that.
Like 1917 is like talkies start kind of coming around. Sorry, 20s. 20s is when it's like
seemed like
talkies start
70
becoming
years of like
mainstream-ish.
big commercial cinema. But and so people start to really play with the form, and it's like pushing it into the art form into brave new directions. But also crucial to that, people could pay attention because we didn't have smartphones.
Yeah.
Now I think a lot of these films would be rightly panned if they were released now, because people wouldn't watch them and understand what was going on, or they have to like sort of click backwards on Netflix and go back 33 minutes because they're on their phone, not reading the text, not knowing what's going on. It's a very, like the 90s into the early 2000s, very specific time in cinema history.
The last time people could pay attention.
Exactly.
And that's it. That's why we got cool, whacked out, weird movies. And many of them were favorites of 19-year-old Michael Hing. The next movie, 2002, Igby Goes Down. Do you remember this movie? I believe it's one of the Culkins.
I rewatched
Kieran
it.
Culkin.
I rewatched it recently.
Yeah.
Because Kieran Culkin obviously has had a resurgence, post-Succession resurgence. And I rewatched it. It holds up.
Yeah.
I mean, it obviously there are some proper bits in it, but like basically it's pretty good.
Wow.
Kind of like an indie.
Features Gore Vidal as the first headmaster in an uncredited role, one of the great intellectuals.
I don't think I would have recognized.
I think even maybe 19-year-old Michael Hing going like, I love Gore Vidal. I simply must see the filmography of Gore Vidal.
I feel like he's being made fun of in The Simpsons, so therefore I know who he is.
And then we're going to 1999, Human Traffic.
Oh, love Human Traffic.
Great movie, huh?
Now, my memory of this film is that it has. Wait, no, hang on. Is this about like? Is this Nice One, bruv? Is this Human Traffic?
I think
they're sort of
so.
trading drugs, and then they're yelling Nice One, bruv at each other on the toilet.
That's it. It's kind of post Train Spotting.
Yeah.
1999.
Yeah.
John Sim is the lead from
Yes.
Life on Mars and stuff.
yes,
Love John
yes.
Sim. 20-something friends spend a drug-fueled weekend in Cardiff,
Yes.
Wales.
Yeah.
So kind of Wales answer to Train Spotting. Maybe a little bit more fun, but like...
Yeah. Less heroin, more ecstasy.
This is a true video store movie for me.
Really?
It's never really been available for any kind of streaming. Hard to find, but maybe it's even on the desk here.
Have you got a DVD of it?
I've got a DVD of it because I took it from my video store when it closed down because it was like always hard to find, and we had it in the cult section.
Oh, that's crazy.
Our cult section. But I always loved this movie.
My friend Patty had it on DVD. That's how I saw this.
Wow.
Shout out to Patty if he ever listens to this, ever watches it.
Send it to him.
Patrick Ward.
Thank you, Patrick Ward.
He's
for
a
listening.
great guy, and he had access to his house had the nicest sound system out of all of our friends when we were growing up.
Oh my God, that 5.1 Patty is what we call him. The next film on the list by Tom Stoppard. Do you know the movie yet?
No idea. I
No,
don't remember any of these, Alexei.
This is a play based on a play, I believe, or it's at least immersed in theatre. Gary Oldman, Tim Roth, Richard Dreyfuss, Ian Glenn, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
So this is an absurdist piece of theatre that was based on the characters from Hamlet. The most memorable... These are sort of like minor characters in Hamlet that were then turned into a full feature play.
Yes.
Full-length play that then became a movie.
And the film is directed by Tom Stoppard, who also
Yeah,
wrote
right.
that play.
So all I remember
It's the
about
only film he's
this-
ever directed, I think.
All I remember about this is there's a scene where they are playing tennis and they're also playing a game of questions. Like you can only say questions, and they sort of hit the ball back and forth while they ask each other questions.
Wow.
But again, like as a 19-year-old, you're like, this ain't my granddaddy's cinema, you know?
I like that. And of course, you would go on to host Letters and Numbers, which is, of course, one would describe as tennis versus questions.
which I would also go to describe would go to be another thing watched by virgins.
Okay, here we go. God, mainstream Michael has reared his head one more time. 2002. 5 stars from Alexei Toliopoulos as well. Spider-Man from Sam Raimi.
Dude, one of the probably the movie that kickstarted like the superhero boom, maybe did it? I don't know.
Well, probably that and X2. X-Men and X2 around that same time. But I agree, and it's interesting to go back and watch this
this
one.
is the Tobey Maguire one.
Tobey Maguire one, because it's like, it is a superhero origin story. There weren't that many superhero origin story movies. I think this is the one that kind of kicks that off.
Yeah.
And then forever since, every superhero movie goes, well, who is this guy?
Yeah.
That we've heard about for 100 years already. But Spider-Man, going back and watching this one now, it's so interesting to be like, well, what is a superhero movie? Spider-Man goes, probably about 40% body horror and then 60% teenage action movie.
Yeah.
And it's just going, that's what a superhero movie is.
And it was.
It's really weird.
I reckon this movie, classic like nerd insufferable bullshit, but I reckon it came out on the day that my school was having its athletics carnival, and I reckon I skipped the athletics carnival to go and watch the Spider-Man film.
Wow. Well, good on you. Good on you. Change who you are. We're gonna.
I also horniness. I think this has the upside down kiss in it.
Absolutely.
Which as a teenager you're like, oh my goodness, imagine
try
smooch it
that?
upside down.
Did you try that? You would have been about 18.
I would have had a crack at some point.
Wow.
As semi again,
Dangling from a balcony.
ironically to but also really wanting to.
Yeah,
Ooh,
what
wouldn't
if
it be
I-
funny if we kissed?
What
Yeah.
if I turn my hand upside down and kiss that? All right, we're going to zoom through a few of these. 2001, The Man Who Wasn't There from the Coen brothers.
Great film.
Great film. 2002, once again, not your daddy's film, 24-Hour Party People.
Has that got Steve Coogan in it?
Steve Coogan,
Yeah.
yeah, based on a true story. John Sim also in this one. I believe he plays the guy from Ian Curtis. He plays Ian
from
Curtis
Joy
in
Division.
it.
Or
Great
from
film.
New Order, yeah.
Or both.
Was he both?
No. Wait, no.
One of them?
One of them he's dead in. One of them he's not in because he's
One
dead.
of
Yeah. Yeah, so he's not in New Order.
But that movie's great. Move on,
Yeah,
Alexei.
great movie. Then, surprising to me, 2001, Moulin Rouge.
I don't know why that's on there, to be honest. I think maybe I was trying to...
Can I suggest?
Yeah.
You did say you were trying to impress a girl with this
Yeah.
list.
I reckon she probably liked Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, you know, and especially when it's sandwiched between 24-Hour Party People and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. You got to put a little something extra in there. Just ahead of those films is where we got Spirited Away.
Oh, one of the... Honestly, so good. And that is a film I have in my late teens and early 20s that I would... Because I was kind of a nerd and kind of into anime and stuff, and not a lot of the people in my life were. I would invite someone over to my house, would put on Spirited Away. Always crushes. Always crushes. Always a great film to hang out and watch.
Truly one of the most sensational films ever made. And
But only number 30 or whatever it is on this list.
Yeah, I think we're up to like number 45 or something like that. Just ahead of it on the list is Fight Club.
I probably would switch those around now.
And just ahead of that on the list is High Fidelity.
Look, I will
Perfect
say,
19-year-old's favorite movie.
High Fidelity and the movie and the book, I think as a teenage boy you read, and every teenage boy who reads those reads that book or watches that film takes the wrong message away from that. The message you should take is like, this guy's a shallow prick and he's hated by everyone in his life who he continually lets down. The message everyone takes from that book and movie is, wouldn't it be cool to judge people based on the music they listen to?
Yeah, okay, it's true. And then the next one on the list as well, this is a little common occurrence on this list that surprised me most. There are several movies here from the new Hollywood movements, the 60s turning into the 70s, where directors become kings. And it's the auteur movement in America really kicking off into steam. And there's a few films that are like 70s era, late 60s era counterculture and 70s era music being a big thing. I've been friends with people about probably 10 years of my
Maybe
life.
more, yeah.
Maybe longer than that. Never once heard you talk about 70s music or anything like that. This is Easy Rider from 1969.
I feel like there's a Captain America shield in this movie.
Well, you
and a
know,
motorbike.
one of the motorbike guys is called Captain America,
There we go.
but
Okay,
he's
yeah.
unrelated to the Marvel character. He just wears a jacket like him or
Oh,
whatever.
does he? Okay, yeah.
But he's a bit of a hippie dip guy as
I
well.
reckon this is a Mark Sutton special. I think he saw
Absolutely.
it, and it's very much in his wheelhouse.
Absolutely.
And I think he recommended it to me. And I don't even know what was good about this film, but I probably just wanted to be cool.
And you're trying to impress him, you've unlocked exactly all my questions involved with this list. Like that, why all those things are like that. But then in 2003, of course, Michael Hing's favorite two actors would have been, at 19 years of age, Johnny Depp and Jeffrey Rush, who've got Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
I mean, look, obviously they suck. There's no getting around that. I don't think I knew that at the time that they sucked.
No one did.
I think Jeffrey Rush at this point had won an Oscar.
Yes, for Shine.
And the Pirates of the Caribbean film, when the Pirates of the Caribbean, when it came out,
It slaps, mate.
it's so, unfortunately,
ripper.
it's so good. These
a
bad men have
ripper.
made a great. Now, a couple of things on this.
Of course.
Do we have time for me to say a couple of things?
Well, I know what you're going to say, and it could divert the whole podcast.
What am I going to say?
2003 era 19-year-old Michael King loving Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
Let me picture what this guy looks like.
No, I wasn't even going to bring that up.
Oh, what does he look like? He looks kind of like Johnny Depp's character in it, with little dreadlocks, often
That's
a
true.
bandana. Would you wear makeup?
Oh my goodness! I only like half a dozen times did I wear eyeshadow because my girlfriend at the time put it on
Eyeshadow,
me.
not even eyeliner.
Oh, eyeliner, I don't know.
Wow.
My girlfriend put it on me, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I looked cool. I don't know. Maybe I looked terrible. Who knows?
Watch the clip and find out.
No, what I was going to say is two things on this. Number one, the soundtrack to this, one of the great soundtracks in terms of like fun pirate music.
Yep.
I used to put it on. I was working at the bottle shop. I would put it on and very loud to clear out the store when it was like 10 minutes to closing time.
Yeah.
I'd put on like the dun, 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 dun.
Right, wonderful.
And then also, I later, very, very later, became friends with, I don't know exactly their relationship, but a person who I did an improv class with them in LA, and they were an orphaned person. Their parents had died. I don't know the circumstances of it. And they were put in the care of, because it's LA and everyone's like friends with everyone.
Oh my God.
Was put in the care of Gore Verbinski,
Oh my God.
the director of Pirates of the Caribbean.
And the namesake of Gore Vidal.
and,
Wow.
and this is maybe like 10 years ago I met this
Yeah.
person. And they told me that when they were like a kid.
Yeah.
When Pirates of the Caribbean came out, I think, I'm going to get some details of this wrong. Basically, it's a Disney film, and Disney basically closed down Disneyland for a day when it came out and let the people who worked on the film go to Disneyland. And
Have
so
a
this
muck
person
around.
got like basically an empty Disneyland for a whole day because they were a ward of Gore Verbinski.
That's an exclusive.
Yeah,
I didn't know
I mean-
Gore Verbinski had a ward.
Yeah, I mean, look, they may have just meant like it may not have been a legal thing, or
Yeah.
it may have just been like the parents were friends. I don't know any details.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah,
Oh my God, that's actually fascinating.
But again, Jeffrey Rush and Johnny Depp, bad people.
Yeah, but good movie, and we'll give him a pass for that.
don't-
1995,
no,
you're going to give
no.
this guy a pass as well. Brian Singer, another one on the list, The Usual Suspects.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Starring, look, luckily it's starring a great guy in Kevin Spacey.
Okay, 1942, the next one. This is another funny one to have on the list, Casablanca. Have you seen it?
Yeah. I reckon
That's my first accusation of have you seen this movie?
I mean, I would have watched it in the summer after year 12. I remember it very hot in my living room, no air conditioning, and watching it, and obviously loved it.
Loved
clearly.
it.
Or just like when you're 19, you've been told something's good.
Yeah.
I remember finding it really funny. I mean, this is fucked.
Yeah.
But the knowing about how they painted, how they did the scenery,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you know about this.
I do. I know everything about film. I know in the background of the final scene, there is a far off plane. And to
It's
save a bit of
fucked.
money, they
Yeah.
had a smaller plane and they cast little people,
Yeah.
short-statured people to
paint the plane to make it look,
so they would look
perspective.
like, perspective
Yeah.
play.
And
Peter Jackson did similar shit, so good on him, He learns. He learned from Michael Curtiz.
but yeah, and also just like when you're a 19-year-old, there are kind of like ideas of classic masculinity that you're aspiring to, and I think Casablanca was like classy,
Yeah.
in a way that I don't know, it's
Yeah.
yucky, but whatever.
Well, to quote Casablanca, forget it, Michael. It's Casablanca. Next on the list, one of my favorite movies, a brutal watch, Raging Bull.
All I knew about this movie going in was that Robert De Niro had gained like 400 pounds for it or something,
And also in Raging Bull, this is my theory. The movie begins and ends with you meeting the real life Jake LaMotta, champion boxer, as the worst comedian in the history of mankind. He retires from boxing and then
forgotten
becomes a
about that.
comedian. And it's
Oh.
like he has to be the least charismatic, worst comedian in the history of mankind.
Maybe I watched that and it was so cringed by it that I was like, I could do that.
I could give this a shot. We got to spend a little bit of time on this one. Donnie Darko, next on the list.
I mean, if you were, what year did Donnie Darko come out? 2001?
2001.
So I was 16 when that came out. Probably saw it when it was on DVD at 2002. If you're 17 and when you watch Donnie Darko, it's probably the best experience of your life. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're a 17-year-old boy who's a little bit gothic and you watch Donnie Darko, that's like
He's brushing the dreads aside to make room so he can see how the movie is going.
It's the greatest experience. And there's like an unexplained bunny in it.
Yeah.
There's stuff dropping from the sky. It's like the world is ending. There's that fucking mad world in this. I mean, it's like it's fucking great.
I'm
Yeah.
putting that in my data. That will be part of
It's
your...
so good.
Yeah, there we go. 1986, similar, New York suburbia, The Twisted Life of Suburbia. Rest in peace to David Lynch, Blue Velvet.
I recently had cause to think about this movie, obviously because of the passing of David Lynch earlier this year, and I was trying to remember what Blue Velvet, and I was like, I don't think I can remember it. It's I feel like I watched it in like year 11 and probably didn't understand it, but like knew that I was meant to understand it.
Power is there.
Yeah. Like, you just gotta respect the artistry that is beyond your comprehension.
That's it. And you certainly did. You popped it at number whatever on your list.
Again, that's aspirational, trying to be cool.
Another one, I'm definitely putting the data of this into the choice as well. 1999, being John Malkovich, a pinnacle
Dude.
of the freaking Millennium Mindfuck movement.
So good. But being John Malkovich is great. I think I also used to do a bit. I probably couldn't do it now, but I used to do a bit in high school where I would do an impression of John Malkovich and it would fucking kill.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
He kind of talks like this, but I was.
That was okay.
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah, it was nice.
I'm sorry. But
I want it. I want to be Malkovich. No, that was bad too.
I should have thought about it and prepped it, knowing I'd be talking about this. But yeah, I remember watching this film and then doing that impression and just getting big laughs at school.
Good on you, Michael. Still out there getting laughs. Also from 1999, this was a huge movie in Sydney amongst parents for me around this time. My parents loved it. All my parents' friends loved it.
Also, Michael Hing loved it, apparently.
Michael Hing loved it. I have the city soundtrack. It's probably still the soundtrack to any movie I listen to most and have listened to more times in my life, from one of my favorite directors, Wim Wenders' documentary, Buena Vista Social Club.
Oh, dude.
This is honestly one of the, like, I watch it and go, the movie's doesn't live up to my memories of it.
Right.
But the music, the score, the exploration of the city, the feelings of Cuba.
So good.
Amazing.
I basically, based on the strength of this, I went to Cuba.
I've never been to Cuba, and based on the strength of this, I've always wanted to go.
I mean, again.
Let's go, man.
I went in
Let's do it.
I went like 20 years ago. No, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
No, yeah, 20 years ago I went, and it was great. I had a great time.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know anything about Cuban music. I just knew Buena Vista Social Club. And, every night you could just go to a club and hear cool music like that, drink mojitos.
Yeah, you probably saw Buena Vista Social Club live.
There was a lot of people claiming to be Buena Vista Social Club.
Because it's like, you just need two of them together, and it counts. I've seen them live at the Enmore Theatre.
I reckon I saw them at the Basement in Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't seen Buena Vista, I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen it, but if you haven't,
Beautiful.
So good.
And then the next one on the list, I think probably the funniest movie ever made. This is Spinal Tap.
Dude, so funny.
All the rest are going to be, dude, here we go. Great
now
movie.
we're getting to the top of the list. You know what I mean? These are all bangers here.
We're in the middle of the list pretty much. The next one is also... Mark Sutton has now explained why this one is on here. The Last Waltz, the Martin Scorsese movie about the band. I couldn't believe. Oh, we got a copy right there. Right there. We can hold it up, Michael.
The opening.
Your favorite movie, The Last Waltz.
Yeah, I'm sure Martin Scorsese needs this, but this has my endorsement. I feel like when I first saw this movie, the opening title card is like, this has to be played loud or like turn it up or something. And I was like, yeah, again, this ain't your granddaddy's.
There we go.
But then,
probably your granddaddy would.
Actually, yeah, my dad certainly would have enjoyed it. But there's like, it's not just the band. It's like
Bob Dylan.
I think Neil Young's in it for a bit.
Neil Diamond is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neil Diamond? Yeah,
no, they're both in it.
Are they? Yeah.
Neil Young and Neil Diamond. Both
Dude,
Neils.
I haven't seen it in many years, but I'll go home and rewatch this.
I love this.
I think it's on Amazon Prime right now.
Can I tell you? Okay, unlock something for me.
Uh-huh.
The first money I ever got paid for doing stand-up was to MC the Record Crate, Mug and Kettle open mic at the Record Crate. I MC'd it. I believe it was like $50 fee. And I was at the record store.
Yeah.
And I saw they had The Last Waltz on record, like a deluxe edition for vinyls.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like, can I get that instead of getting paid? And the owner, Nev, was like, yeah, but you have to pay me $20 still because $70. I was like, okay. So I had to pay for it in the end as well. Another one from Scorsese on the list, Goodfellas.
I mean, I did my year 12 3-unit history assignment or whatever, major work, on the historical perceptions of the mafia through cinema.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah. So
How have you never said that to me? That's like an area of supreme interest to me.
So it was like comparing like I don't know, the Gambino crime family or whatever to like, or the five families in reality, to how they portrayed in popular culture, like
Godfather,
Goodfellas.
yeah.
And then also weirdly, I included in that list of movies, the Hugh Grant film Mickey Blue Eyes.
Mickey Blue Eyes, of course. I love Mickey Blue Eyes. My favorite.
It's so funny.
It's a funny
It's
movie.
so
Gene
good.
Triplehorn, James Caan, Hugh
Yeah,
Grant.
so good.
Joe Vitarelli, the big fat Joe Vitarelli himself. Rest in peace.
But yeah, no, Goodfellas. I recently had a kid and a baby and
you named it Mickey Blue Eyes.
you did. After Hugh
And
Grant's
also,
character.
to psychoanalyze you, blue is your favorite color.
It is my favorite color.
You're a bowerbird, after all.
When she was born, I was spending a lot of time doing late night feeds and just trying to put her out. Not a lot of time. My wife was obviously doing most of the feeding.
Yeah.
But I would occasionally do that, and so I was going back and watching old mob films when I was doing it, and yeah, rewatch this. Holds up. I mean, Joe Pesci being a psycho never gets old.
Every time I watch Goodfellas, which is quite often, I'm convinced it's the best movie ever made and my favorite movie. And the further I get away from it, I go, well, there's other movies that are good out there. But every time watching it, this is the best movies ever get. The next one on the list, one of the supreme bummers. I had never seen this until Cameron James and I explored Millennium Mindfuck Cinema. Requiem for a Dream. Loved it.
So this movie also David Lynch and
No.
sorry,
Darren
no.
Aronofsky.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting Mulholland Drive in this mixed
Oh,
up. Sorry,
yes.
I'm getting them mixed up.
Hold your horses, mate. It might come up. Actually, it might not. We're moving through the
I'm
list,
getting,
mate.
I'm getting them mixed up in my mind though. So which one is about heroin and stuff? Is
That's
that
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream? That's the one we're talking about now.
No, say Requiem.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yes, you must rhyme it, as I do. Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream. Is that about heroin and stuff?
Yeah, heroin, Jared Leto, and I think
Yeah,
one of
okay.
the greatest performances of all time from Ellen Burstyn.
So,
amazing. I'd never seen this movie. It always kind of repulsed me or kept me at arm's length.
It's fucked.
And then when I watched, I finally saw it like probably 3 years ago, and I thought it was fantastic. Like I loved it so much so that everyone always
Now
says,
you take on heroin.
I made me go, I want to see what it's actually like. Now I've seen how movies interpret it, what's it actually like? But no, so much so, like everyone always goes, oh, it's a movie you only see once in your life. You just watch it once and you never have to watch it again. I was so fascinated by it, so taken by it. I watched it first thing in the morning, and then I lived my whole day, came home, watched it again for audio commentary. Twice in one day. I think I'm one of the only people that's done that.
That's psycho. Dude.
Yeah, I am
That's
crazy.
psycho.
I am crazy. I'm more normal than you, but I'm still psycho. Then on the next one on the list, a huge one for me back in this day. I rewatched it recently. I think it actually holds the hell up, and I didn't expect it to. Brazilian film City of God, Cidade de Deus.
Oh, fuck. I cannot remember anything about this film. When did it come? Is it 2001?
2002, revolutionary editing. It was nominated for Best Picture and I think Best Director at the Oscars, or rarity of that time. But it's about gangs in the favelas in Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, dude.
I think it's set over like 15 years or something,
yeah,
from when they're
yeah.
kids to when they're adults, but really holds up.
I could not. Yeah, I will rewatch it. What did I rank it? Like, I don't know, 20th or something.
It's
in this.
quite high up on the
Yeah.
list. Yeah, it's quite high.
I must have really liked it when I watched it, but
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it.
Give me one moment. Pause for a second here. I'm just going to change the list so I can do a ranked list so I can see what number we're up to. So that's number 18 on your list. Number
We're in
18
the top 20,
on your
yeah.
list. We're
I must
into
have
the
really
top
liked
20.
it.
You really liked it. You also must have really liked another crime movie from the same era. A little bit of Snatch from Guy Ritchie.
I
the
mean-
second Guy Ritchie flick on the list. You're an old geezer, mate.
I remember loudly talking to people at a party about the Guy Ritchie's films and being like, imagine if Seinfeld was like a movie. That's basically what they're doing. It's like Seinfeld, but a movie. Because all the plots come together at the end.
Yeah, I guess that's a great way to watch this. Then number 16 on the list, another crime film, 90s. Quentin Tarantinoid, Reservoir Dogs.
I mean, is there a more 19 years old writing a list of movies you like film than Reservoir Dogs?
If anything, it shows maturity to be so low on the list. Good on you, Michael.
Not in the top 5.
Reservoir Dogs is one of those movies that I've never loved as much as the other
Yeah.
Tarantino films. Always quite low for me, but I have I love Harvey Keitel. I wish he did more movies with Tarantino, which is in there.
The Wolf.
He plays the wolf in Pulp Fiction, and he's like, "You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay."
Wait, is Reservoir Dogs stuck in the middle with you with the ears soaring off and
Yes,
stuff? Yeah,
that's it.
off?
He's
Yeah,
like,
okay.
yeah, Harvey Keitel, love
Can't
Harvey
remember any of it.
Keitel.
Okay.
Tim Roth's in this. He's like, I'm fucking dying, man.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
Those are my two impressions I can do.
I thought you were gonna Eddie Murphy and the clumps this and do every character.
All I can do is the only impression I can do are two characters from Reservoir Dogs, which is Harvey Keitel, like, oh, you're gonna be okay, and it's both of them dying. It's both. The only impression I can do are those two characters dying. I'm fucking dying.
Please, this is gonna get clipped out, so please, someone comment if that was appropriate or accurate, or
It's
if
good.
Alexei's. Also, if there are any like ambulance drivers watching this, come to the studio to pick up Alexei. He's having a stroke.
And also, let it be known, if Harvey Keitel dies in between this coming out, I'm so sorry. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. Next on the list, and this is something that I noticed in the list, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to change some things around if you want here.
Let's get in.
The movie you had here was Adaptation. Charlie Kaufman, Spike Jonze.
Uh-huh.
You also have that on the list twice.
Do I?
Yes. So this is a list of 49 films. I'm going to allow you to go back and step inside your 19-year-old soul one more time.
Okay.
And put a movie on the list that was absent from it that you think 19-year-old Michael Hing would have liked.
I reckon, because I had a quick scroll through this, but I couldn't remember everything. I feel like a notable, I feel like a notable absence on the list is The Matrix.
Yes.
So could I please include the?
You could include The Matrix on the list.
The Matrix. So what numbers? Do you know what numbers I had adaptation at?
That's number 15. You had Adaptation, and number 7.
Yeah, right. Okay, well.
Yeah. So, like, God, I love this movie so much. Let's put it 2 times in my top 20. Okay, talk about The Matrix then, because it's
Okay.
not on the list. You have to eulogize it a little bit.
No,
you know?
obviously, hey, obviously I don't love it as much as Alexei did. I feel like you can parody it without disrespecting it.
I have. Finding Jesus. When we were conceiving Finding years ago, this has to be like The Matrix, right? And it became the backbone of the whole thing.
And yet when Shrek does it, disrespectful.
Because I did it while not being green. Even though The Matrix is green. So it should have been okay.
No, I love The Matrix. Obviously, it changed the way every teenage, mostly boys, but I would say teenage child who watches this movie thought about reality. And everyone around this time went to probably a first year or second year philosophy lecture that was like, it is almost certain that we're living in the Matrix. Have you heard about this theory?
Of course.
Yeah. And so then, there's like 3 years after that where you have bats of 5 or 10 minutes every week where you're just like, nothing fucking matters. It's all a simulation,
Yeah.
It changed.
Did you think you lived in a simulation?
At periods, I reckon that would be like 10 minutes a week where I'd be like, fuck it, I'll do whatever I want, I'm going to shoplift. I'm going to,
Did it make you perform more? I can imagine you having Truman Show syndrome.
Oh, thinking the machines while you're watching.
Yeah, we got to entertain the machines.
I'm trying to make the robots laugh.
Just ahead of The Matrix on the list, Amoros Perros. Do you remember that?
Yes, had watched this and a bunch of other Spanish language films because I'd taken first year Spanish. And so there was this, there was Y tu mamá también. I can't remember. There was like half a dozen of these, but I remember they, when you're 19, the idea of a foreign film, oh my goodness, you're so cultured.
I love Amoros Perros. It's like that kind of hyperlink story with like lots of different stories that kind of intersect and come back.
Sorry. What you mean is it's like if Seinfeld was a movie.
Seinfeld style storytelling. Yeah, I love Amoros Perros. Then you've got Taxi Driver on the list. A few Scorsese's in here.
Hey,
Scorsese here. Good on you.
Yeah, I love it. I love the use of a upbeat soundtrack and a voiceover,
It's truly one of the great juxtapositions of film vision and film score. The kind of jazziness and dreaminess of Taxi Driver's score. Beautiful. Love it. 12 on the list, Amélie. But you wrote it down by its full French title, which is Le Fabuleux Destin de Amélie Poulain.
Hey, it's very important. If we're talking about respecting films, give Amélie her full name. No, Emily rules, doesn't it?
It's beautiful.
Or is it more
Yeah,
like,
no, it's
you know,
fantastic.
as a 19-year-old, maybe you're looking for like almost like a manic pixie
sure.
dream girl kind of thing as
Well,
well.
of course, you
and-
put it on a list to impress a girl very high. But I agree with you, and I agree with 19-year-old Michael. Beautiful film. Caught up with it again recently and just loved it all
Isn't
over
it
again.
about running your hand through a sack of grain, maybe, or
Yeah.
something? I reckon every time I'm getting rice out of the big rice. Okay,
Yeah.
first of all,
Every
I
time I'm
have
getting rice, let me sink my hands into
I have
it.
a 20 kilo or whatever it is, a giant bag of rice at my house for obvious reasons. And every time I go to fill up a smaller container of rice from the big thing of rice, I do run my hand through the rice and think of Emily.
Well, you know, you shared some of your culture with us here today. Let me do the equivalent. I always have a probably 5 or 6 liter tin of olive oil in my house, and that's how I do it. I decant it into a smaller thing to use. But you know, those big tins you see of olive oil.
Yeah.
I always have at least 1, maybe up to 3, because I just always
3?
want it. Yeah, because
Three's so
I have them on the
many.
run. Because everything I cook uses olive oil, basically.
Usually you'd have 3 of
Well,
them.
I don't want to run out. I don't want to be left without. I'm not using 1 a week. It takes me months to get through them, but I go, well, I'm cycling them. Maybe it was on special. Maybe it's a rare brand that you can't always find in Australia, good Greek brands. And it's always Greek olive oil.
Can you shout out where you buy? Do you have a Greek grocer you go to, whatever? Where do you get it from?
Where do I go these days? I go to many a Greek grocer, but probably Souvlaki Boys in Marrickville I go to
Can't be-
quite a
is
lot.
that- is it actually
Same, yeah, Souvlaki
Oh, it's called
Boys.
Souvlaki Boys.
Yeah, I love
don't-
them.
I thought that was a trap. Where I was like, yeah, we love
Yeah.
the Souvlaki Boys. You fucking racist. Like,
A terracell. Number 11, quite low. Because I understand this to be one of your very favorite movies,
Yeah.
The Big Lebowski.
yeah, I quite like The Big Lebowski. I mean, I guess number 11 is pretty high. It feels in the top 50.
Well, there's
you know?
films on here that are weird to have on your list that are higher than it, I'd say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, everyone loves The Big Lebowski, so let's see
Let's
what
leave
else
it
is
there.
above it. That
Number 10, Mulholland Drive.
yeah,
Rest
okay.
in peace to David Lynch.
Yes. So this was unlike Blue Velvet. I remember watching this and maybe getting it a bit more than Blue Velvet and love it. Naomi Watts, I believe.
Naomi Watts, the great Australian Naomi Watts.
The beautiful Naomi Watts.
Beautiful Naomi Watts. Supremely talented.
Did Naomi Watts get an Oscar for this, or?
No, I don't even know she was nominated,
Oh,
actually.
did she
Don't
get-
know.
She's
She might
got,
have been.
she's got an Oscar though, right?
No, not. She
What?
deserves one. She's a fantastic actor.
She's so good though.
I know. Brilliant
a-
actor. The next one on the list, number 9, is actually sitting on this table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to present it to you.
Orson Welles in Citizen Kane.
Famously the best movie of all time. But only number 9 for Michael Hing. But also, you didn't have to put it on the list. Or did you feel you had to put it on the list?
I think this was certainly influenced by Mark Sutton. I think it's his, or
Mm-hmm.
at least at the time when we were in high school, it was his favorite film of all time. And he made me watch it. I believe he took me to what's that cinema in Paddington?
The Chauvel.
The Chevelle, to I think a triple bill of Orson Welles films that
Oh
went
my
for
God,
like 10
fucking
hours or whatever.
hell.
It was,
Let me guess. That F for Fake?
No, it was
Or
this. It was
Magnificent Amberson?
Chimes at Midnight.
Oh, wow.
and
Shakespeare.
the Shakespeare one,
Yeah.
and
One of his Shakespeare
something
adaptations,
else.
at
I don't know, and something else. Maybe.
Yeah. Touch of Evil?
Yeah, maybe. I can't
Yeah.
remember. I may have fallen asleep into
Yeah.
the third film.
Hey, you've earned it at that point. Another Seinfeld-style film, at number 8, Pulp Fiction.
Hey, well, look, you know, I love all the stories coming together.
Mm-hmm.
I love, I mean, I love a watch up an ass. That's like when you're a kid, teenager, that's a funny bit. It's a funny bit, you know?
Let it be known Michael loves to watch up his ass. Number 7, returning to the list, adaptation.
Again, it's that kind of like, it's similar to, I don't know, like that Millennium Mindfuck kind of thing. It's like, it's breaking, it's postmodern, you know?
Postmodern, meta, textual, like in every way. Yeah.
Also, it's got Nicolas Cage being crazy in it,
Yeah.
which is great. I mean, look, obviously Nicolas Cage is a parody of himself, but he's one of the great performers.
I disagree with that. I think he's one of the most sincere actors. He's never lied on screen.
No. Sorry, to be clear, I don't think he's.
Yeah.
I don't think he.
Yeah.
Sorry, when I say he's a parody of himself, I don't think he's purposely been like, I'm going to do a crazy Nicolas Cage thing. I think when you watch Nicolas Cage, I feel like it's like. It's hard to remember he's a human being with thoughts and feelings because he's so big in everything that he does.
Yeah. It's expressionism from the inwards to the outwards, you know?
I have a very quick Nicolas Cage story. A friend of
Yes.
mine who lives in LA was walking through, I don't know exactly what happened. He was walking through somewhere and Nicolas Cage was having a garage sale. I think during one of
Wow.
his, or there was a sale of Nicolas Cage's stuff or something.
He's had to do that a few times.
Yeah, you know, you had to sell, I don't know, a dinosaur bone or whatever.
Yeah,
it
he had a
was.
T-Rex skull.
And he had for sale several thrones.
Oh my God.
And my friend was like, This is the comedian Jordan Morris. Yeah, my friend was like, "What? Yeah, he's like." Is that why he doesn't have any money? Because he bought several thrones.
It is why.
Yeah.
It is why.
I mean,
like,
if you had Nicolas Cage's career, you would waste money on thrones as
of
well.
course.
You know?
Like this, I've researched him quite a lot, and like, there's been things that trivia around him where he goes, Nicolas Cage owned an octopus that could predict things because he thought it would help with his acting. And I go, well, he's definitely saying it helped with his acting for tax purposes, right? So he could put it as a write-off, right?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
But also, I wouldn't put it past Nicolas Cage just being like, sure, I want to be the best actor in the world.
Let's get
Has
to
he
the
got an
top
Oscar?
6, mate.
Has he got an Oscar?
Yes.
Great.
For Leaving Las Vegas.
Haven't seen it.
The only times Nicolas Cage has been nominated for an Oscar, in fact, is for playing writers in Leaving Las Vegas as a screenwriter and adaptation as Charlie and Donald Kaufman. Wow. That's true. A little bit of fun trivia for you guys. Number 6, Trainspotting.
Hey, it's, Trainspotting the book rules, Trainspotting the movie rules. Do you like the movie Trainspotting?
I love Trainspotting.
Okay, great.
Key to me as well.
Would it be your top 10 like it is to me?
It might have been, like, at
Yeah.
one point in time.
Yeah.
Now there's, I don't know, but it would still be highly top, like,
Yeah.
5-star. And
So
I
good.
love the sequel. I think T2 Trainspotting 2 is excellent.
I think the book, the sequel
Porno?
book is called Porno.
Yeah, Porno. It takes some elements from Porno, but
Yeah,
it's
does it?
still
Yeah.
an original story, T2 Trainspotting 2. I love it. One of my
The
favorite
guy
sequels.
who made this went on to make a zombie movie that I really love.
28 Days
28
Later,
yeah.
Danny Boyle, and he's going back to it now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, good on you, Danny Boyle.
28 years later, it's coming out this year.
Oh, damn. Well,
Michael, let's get a couple of teenagers together and let's watch another movie in the cinema. Number 4 and 5, we're doing them back to back. Two
Okay.
films by one of the master filmmakers, according to 19-year-olds, Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, okay. What Kubrick films did I like?
Doctor Strangelove of How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Full
and
title, very
A
important.
Clockwork Orange.
I mean, you know.
And I love that you said full title, very important, because that was your decision to put it on the list, not mine to say it out loud.
I was talking about me. No, Doctor Strangelove, very funny, you know.
I would say this, when I watched it, I only saw this probably in the last 5-6 years for the first
Really?
time, and I go,
Yeah, right.
do people actually think this is funny?
Yeah. Oh, you watch it, you didn't find it funny.
Not really.
But it's got your favorite, Peter Sellers in it.
No, but he's not doing enough racially based humor. I really like when he does that.
He hasn't browned up and
Doing
he's not
too many white guys in this film.
Really? No.
But I will give it another shot. I'm just not a big Kubrick
What's
head.
the precious human fluids or whatever they're talking about, you know?
I can't remember it
No,
very
anyway,
well. Sorry.
I can't remember. I saw this 20 years ago, but my friend and a person you know, and actually Mark Sutton.
And he's a friend of mine too.
Oh, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I know him, and I would declare him my
cool.
friend.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So Dave,
And hopefully he would too. Did he
who-
talk shit about me?
who hosts or who DM'd my Dungeons and Dragons podcast for many years. He and Mark Sutton actually wrote a musical about Doctor Strangelove and took it to the Melbourne International Comedy Festival in like 2007.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was great. It was really funny. Had lots of great people in it.
We got another return of Charlie Kaufman on the list right now. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind at number 3.
Now look, I think maybe this is not the third best movie of all time, but
It's a great movie.
I think if you are a on and off again quite lonely man, it's fucking heroin. Are you kidding me? If you're a kind of quirky person who, despite everything this film tells you, thinks that finding a quirky woman in your life will fix everything, this movie is heroin to you.
And I would say it's like the greatness of Charlie Kaufman and that idea of American surrealism to me, as I define it, and that Millennium Mindfuck era, is taking an idea or a thought or a feeling and then like being able to turn that into visual imagery. And I think that's what Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind does so well. We're taking the feelings of a breakup and going, how do I turn this into something science fiction or something surrealistic? How do I interpret it? I think amazing. Like when I describe what surrealism is in terms of cinema and American surrealism, that's the example I use, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I feel like every time I go to the beach and it's raining, I think of this film. I don't know why. Is there a cloudy beach scene in this movie?
Think
Maybe
so.
I don't know. Anyway, hey,
Great movie.
we love it. If you're listening to this podcast, you've definitely seen it, and you definitely love that movie.
We're at number 2 on the list. It's a tie on here.
What could number 2 be?
Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2.
Fuck.
Excellent movies. I love Kill Bill.
Yeah, no, I rewatched them again. This was another couple of films I watched while feeding the baby. They hold up. Real fun violence, really like comedic violence in part. The live burial scene of Uma Thurman is like fucking incredible. Yeah, everything about. I mean, you know, obviously there's very, very teenagey stuff.
Yeah.
It's very adolescent that, about all Tarantino films, but especially this. But no, I loved it. I loved Kill Bill. So good.
I love them too. They would be very highly on my Tarantino list. I love Kill Bill. And apologies now to, I know there's a listener of this podcast that updates every movie mentioned for the Letterboxd, a Letterboxd account, a Letterboxd list of this. Apologies for you having to put fucking 50 movies on here right now. But we're here at number one.
What's the number one film, Alexei?
Number one on the list. The Return of Roman Polanski.
Oh, no.
He's jumped all the way from near the bottom of the list to all the way at the top from 2002. So you would have freshly seen this film. The Pianist. Winner of Best Director at the Academy Awards, winner of Best Actor at the Academy Awards for Adrian Brody. Do you even remember seeing this movie?
I could not tell you what it's about. I couldn't tell. I mean, I imagine it involves a pianist.
It involves a pianist. It's a Holocaust film.
Is it
Holocaust drama.
Is there like a sniper element to it? Is there snipers in this film?
I haven't seen this movie probably since 2003, so I have no memory
I reckon
of
I've seen
it.
it then and never again. But
Yeah.
maybe what I liked about this, and I think this a lot of the time when you're making a list of, when you're a teenager making a list of the films you love, really it's like, what do these films say about me? What is this going to tell someone who reads this list about me? I think what I was trying to, and you just see if you can kind of like subtly understand the kind of subtle things I'm trying to put forward here. But the reason I probably put this on the list is because I played the piano. And that...
Wow. Okay. I
believe that there is a piano in this film, I imagine. I honestly could not tell you a fucking thing about Adrian Brody's in it.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd done his weird Jamaican accent on SNL at this point.
Well, it's after this because this makes him a bit of a star.
And
He's in an Oscar campaign. I think that's when he does that.
Oh, okay, so maybe he
he's meant to be using Sean Paul. Keeps calling him Sean John. I watched that clip again. It's about 30 seconds long.
It's crazy.
In my head, I go, that's like 7 minutes. But it's like you watch it's 40 seconds. It's one of the most harrowing things, like powerful cringe.
Is he wearing a dread wig?
He's wearing a dread wig.
See, that's the thing. If you want to appropriate Rasta culture, you should grow your own dreadlocks.
You have to grow it. You have to painfully grow it.
And just before anyone gets mad at me, the times I did spend in Jamaica around Rasta people with my dreadlocks, I was fucking beloved in the early 2000s. Would that survive into 2025? Probably not.
Perhaps not.
But in 2005, I was very popular.
Staff pick.
Okay, now we're at the point where I've interpreted the whole list.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this the whole time.
This has gone into the Alexei 5000.
Into my Alexei algorithm, the AI that I am, and between the A and the I, there is an L, an E, an X, and another E. But this is my thoughts for you, like what I'm putting in.
Okay, so is this you predicting what kind of person I was, or is this you telling
All
me
of
what?
it. Let me tell you this, because the way that I'm thinking about this is I'm not recommending Michael Hing from 2025 a movie. I'm giving Michael Hing at 19 in 2004 a movie that will achieve everything that he wants.
Okay.
Which is definitely want to impress people.
Yes.
So you really want to impress your friends that are like these intellectuals and you being a pseudo-intellectual at the time. Trying to show that you are an intellectual yourself. And also a sense of discovery because you're getting all these movies that are from other people going, I want to give you a gift that go, these people back then probably wouldn't have heard of this movie. So there's a little bit of that in there. Taking a few elements. Harvey Keitel came up a few times on my favorite actors. I'm like, okay, Harvey Keitel, let's get a Harvey Keitel movie in there. But then also, I want to give you a movie that I believe predates the Millennium Mindfuck era of filmmaking by a substantial amount. Is hardly known. This is a hardly known film from 1980 by French filmmaker Bertrand Tavernier. So a little bit of French, a little bit of Amélie in there for you too.
That's good.
A little bit of French in there.
Please, Fable Destin to Amélie Poulain.
And I would say there's quite a lot of that Millennium Mindfuck in this movie. So this is a film that you can take back in time and impress everyone with. Also, it's a fantastic movie. This is Death Watch, starring Harvey Keitel and Harry Dean Stanton.
Oh, damn.
And also stars Romy Schneider.
Thriller.
But let me tell you about this film. It's a science fiction film that I think predates a lot of the ideas that are coming through in your Truman Shows, your Matrixes, and many other films that appear on this list. In a future world where disease has been finally defeated and everything can be solved, even the crude spectacle of death The rare case of a dying woman becomes the morbid theme of a revolutionary reality show, a broadcast through the curious eyes of a peculiar camera. The peculiar camera is Harvey Keitel plays a TV producer who gets a camera implanted in his eyes to film a woman who's gone on the run because she signed up to do this reality show, but she just wanted the money so she could try and live her last days out there. And they go on the run together. She doesn't know he's a TV producer.
So it's a dystopian sort of...
dystopian world.
Yeah, right.
And I did, you had a lot of like English or especially Trainspotting so high up. This is actually filmed in Glasgow.
Okay.
And so it's set and filmed in Glasgow. Beautiful, dreary skies. Glasgow's never looked more beautiful in a sad way.
And Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times has given it either 3.5 or 4.5 stars.
Well, it would be 3.5 because he only goes up to 4. But
Oh,
it
does
is
he?
it is a weird way that's written on there. Yeah.
That's okay. Well, Alexei, I can't wait to watch this.
I think you'll really love
And
this
it's got Harvey
movie.
Keitel in it.
Harvey
And
Keitel's in it.
There's 2 discs for this Blu-ray.
It's on DVD and it's on
DVD,
Blu-ray.
is
You've
it?
got both on there. You've
Oh.
got DVD and Blu-ray.
Oh my goodness.
So you can watch it now. You can watch it in 2002. No problem. You can watch it before Blu-ray was invented.
This is 100% the kind of film that I, as a 19-year-old, would have been like, well, this will make me seem smart at parties.
It truly would. And like nobody, even to this day, people don't really know about this movie. It kind of slipped through the cracks because it's genuinely so far ahead of its time. Like the way they talk about reality TV, reality TV doesn't fucking exist in 1980.
So it's like
basically.
It's 20 years before Big Brother. The tagline is a new kind of horror in a new kind of world. And that is how I would describe reality television.
Absolutely. She's the target of every eye, including eyes only science could create. And there's this great thing in the film, like this is like a great little subplot in here. So you got a little bit of that Seinfeld storytelling where things kind of come together at the end. But Harvey Keitel has got this camera implanted in his eye. If he sees darkness for too long, he will be blinded by it. So he has to have a little flashlight to like shine into his eye to like make sure that it's like he doesn't sleep and stuff.
That's
Very
fucking
cool
sick.
movie.
Yeah,
You would
okay.
love this.
All right. Alexei, you've nailed it. I mean, I haven't watched it yet, but I can just tell 19-year-old me and maybe 39-year-old me would love this film.
I think you'll really love it. It's like nice and slow, that
Yeah.
kind of slow sci-fi. Beautiful.
Thank you, Alexei.
You have been relinquished of your list. You've gone through the list. You can be relinquished. You're reborn again in 2025.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Well, now, just as a quick rundown, do we think any of those films, of those 50 films, do you think any of them passed the Bechdel test, or...
I think that, I will say this because if you've been listening to this, you're pretty deep in. So it's like, whatever. The Bechdel test is fucking bullshit. And Alison Bechdel would say that too. And she has said that.
Yeah.
It's not a way to... I'm actually radicalizing my listeners now. By the way, this is a freaking men's rights podcast now.
Oh, no.
No. I respect Alison Bechdel as a critic and everything, but, it's not... And she has agreed as well. Not a great way to... I think in a shorthand way, it's great.
Yes.
I'm going to cut this out of the podcast. All right, that was so awesome. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Alexei, and thank you for Death Watch. And thank you to anyone who's still listening to this podcast.
Thank you. 6 hours in. Actually, it might be the longest episode. We might have to cut some of that shit out.
The last video store.
Thank you for joining me here in the last video store today with me, Michael Hing, and producer M. It has been a pleasure hosting you here all. And if you want to see more stuff from Michael, listen to his podcast, we've got links to a bunch of that shit in the show notes. So click on through and buy tickets to his comedy festival dates. Buy tickets to my comedy festival dates. They're also in the show notes as well. So hit those up. In the meantime, find us on Instagram, Last Video Store Batuta, on YouTube, on the Batuta Advocate YouTube channel, and recommend us to your friends and review us. Interact with us. Enjoy movies. I do.
Me too.
There we go. Awesome.